Last week in aviation, we had the FAA discussing ongoing cybersecurity threats. We had bag rates going up for certain airlines. We had planes hitting antennas and so much more. So buckle up and let's take this journey. Hi, I'm Micah. I'm a commercial aviation enthusiast who enjoys talking planes. And in this show, we're going to be talking about everything that's been going on in the commercial aviation world this past week. Let's get started. Happy Monday morning to you. We're going to start with Boeing news out of the MAX program, the 737 MAX program. The director is fired. Well, he resigned, but let's be honest, it was in a forceful way amid the ongoing safety issues and the overall record of the Boeing MAX aircraft. Had some problems as well with the Boeing MAX 7 and getting that certification and some of the just trying to get that off the ground. And we just had the 737 MAX 9 with the door blowout happen, which most people heard with Alaska Airlines. So after that happened, Ed Clark is now out as head of that program. So, it's tumultuous times. He was actually tapped in 2021 as the new direction of the MAX program after some of the incidents happened that grounded them. But, still really, really tumultuous times for the MAX program. So many are asking at this point, is the CEO David Calhoun Boeing out next? Ooh, who knows? But, a lot of people are blaming them for relentless cost-cutting efforts that have just really presented a lot of safety concerns. So we'll see what happens there. All right, next. American is upping bag fees. Yay, what we all want. More bag fees, more fees, period. And, this is primarily for domestic flyers. All bag fees will be going up $5 for the first and second bag. And, this is the first bag change since 2018, which, what does that mean? American is in a lot of long-term debt. And they're trying to shed some of that, and one of the ways to do it is to up the fees. So it is what it is. There's also some other changes on the back end, like there's a pet in cabin fee. So if you want to have your pet in the cabin, that went up from $125 to $150. So that's going up there a little bit if you want to have your dog or pet in the cabin. Also, American made a change to the policy. Apparently, you will no longer be allowed to carry javelins, pole vaults, or hang gliders. So I thought that was interesting. So if you're looking to travel American and have javelins, pole vaults, or hang gliders, that's a no-go. So think elsewhere. All right, next story. FAA urges that we use traditional navigation instead of GPS because of ongoing cybersecurity threats in the Middle East and GPS spoofing. Now, for those of you who don't know what GPS spoofing is, I'm going to give you a quick overview. GPS spoofing is basically, okay, I'm going to take your GPS location and I'm going to say you're elsewhere. Why that's a bad thing? A lot of aircraft use GPS as a prime source of navigation, right? And whenever it's saying you're in a different location, it could get your location confused. Primarily what the concern is, getting you out in a very remote area where you can run out of fuel or you have major problems. So, or get you into a disputed area. There's all sorts of risk with it. Either way, the FAA warns us, hey, we should probably be using traditional means such as VOR navigation, which, that's what a lot of people have been saying for a long time, that GPS, it's very interesting because it is a great tool and a great resource. However, I've always heard as far as navigational beacons and things like that, all you need is one guy with some tools to go out there and go fix it versus if something happens with the satellite or something happens GPS wise or even cybersecurity wise, now you got to go hire somebody. Say something's wrong with the satellite, what are you going to do? Send somebody up there in a spaceship with the spacesuit, all that good jazz. So it's very interesting business, but the FAA is now telling us, hey, it's probably best if we use GPS but also sparingly. All right, let's talk about the next one. Air Serbia. Air Serbia, which actually was Marathon Air, doing the contract work out there. An ERJ 195 out of Belgrade actually sustained some really substantial damage to the fuselage and less stabilizer. So they hit some antennas on the way out, looks like. So right now, what's believed is that the flight entered the runway at an intermediate taxiway and didn't have enough runway to get airborne, and striking some antennas at the end of the runway. There was also some speculation that maybe he took off on a taxiway, the pilot, but nobody knows for sure. Right now, what it looks like is what an intermediate taxiway is. There's a taxiway that is in the middle of the runway and not necessarily on the end or on the other end. So if you pull on to the intermediate taxiway, there is, runway you could have used behind you essentially, and not as much in front of you. So didn't have enough, and apparently uh, hit some antennas. So yikes, that's never fun. But they were able to return to Belgrade with a safe landing, no injuries or casualties, which is always good. A safe landing with no lost lives is always a good flight. So and cheers to Embraer. I mean, they build a big aircraft. There's some other aircrafts that this would not have been so good. All right, so last and final story for our first episode is Delta's going to offer an eclipse viewing experience. And the flight is from Austin to Detroit, and the flight will have the maximum totality experience here on April the 8th, when we have a big solar eclipse. And yeah, it's that sounds really, really fun. The flight's going to depart from Austin, Texas at 12:15 Central Standard Time, and then it'll get to Detroit at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And pretty much the times are chosen to follow the entire eclipse path across the United States. So pretty much throughout the duration of that flight, you'll get to see all of that. But if you're looking to get tickets, it was sold out within the first 24 hours. There are some other flights out there that follow somewhat of the path. You can look those up to see what it is. But another note, Delta chose the A220 as the aircraft for the really big windows, so I bet you that's going to be a really awesome experience. But yeah, the tickets went all the way up to $7,000 for first class. So would you pay $7,000 for a totality seat? Flying from Austin all the way to Detroit to see the whole eclipse? You let me know in the comments section. But in the meantime, we'll see you next week. Hopefully not too much happens in this crazy world of aviation, but we'll see what happens. I'm Micah. We'll see you later.